welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and Patreon subscriber Claire has given me a dealer's choice to play whatever I want. And what I want to do is use my last day of testing before Eternal Weekend to play my Legacy deck one more time. We're in the weird timeline gap where I am recording this in crunch time. Eternal Weekend literally starts tomorrow on the day that I am recording this. I'm going to hold it for probably 2 weeks before I release it, though, because I already have Bugbean scheduled to release the week after Eternal Weekend, and I'm trying not to just feed you all the same stuff all the time, even if that is convenient for my own recording schedule. Luckily, I can release things whenever I want, and hopefully this will still be relevant 2 weeks later. This is Bugbeans. At this point, it is locked. This is the 75 that I am playing. I guess I still have like 12 hours to change some slots, but I think this is where I'm going to be. If you watch all my videos, you saw me play Bugbeans in one form about 3 weeks ago. You saw me release a testing video with Pokemoki where we made some important final changes last week. And then this week, I'm going to play a league with the changes before I show up to the main event and try to win 15 rounds in a row this weekend. The overall premise of this deck is that we get to do kind of the low to the ground annoying thing with cards like Tameo, Psychic Frog, Daze, Orcish Bowmaster, fill our graveyard for quick Murktide Regents. A very tempo-centric game plan, if you will. However, this is also an Up the Beanstalk deck, which means that I have a massive control engine that can kick in, and I can bury people in cards as I cast cards like Murderous Cut, Force of Will, Lorien Revealed, or the aforementioned Murktide Regent. We're trying to go low. We're going low is correct. We're trying to go high. We're going high is correct. And the reason I like this at the Eternal Weekend metagame is people seem to be going a little bigger to respond to Reanimator. Dimir Tempo is slightly favored versus Dimir Reanimator. And then Esper Tempo is slightly favored versus Dimir Tempo. And the more colors you add to a deck, the slower and less consistent it gets, which is good in a mid-range war. If you're just trying to beat the deck that is one click smaller and faster than you, that's a good way to do it. And Bugbeans is one click bigger than the Esper Tempo decks. However, if the bet is wrong, and the metagame has fully cycled back to Turbo Reanimator, or even Sneak and Show is a deck that is creeping up into this metagame that we've seen slowing down, I could get fully punished and not win a match. I believe we have a good plan for Reanimator. Snake and Show's going to kick my ass pretty much. I have to get pretty lucky to win that one. Hope I don't run into it. But that's my thought for the metagame. We have basic lands to fetch and powerful spells to cast versus the Ancient Tomb decks of the format, the Blood Moon decks of the format. I think I'm pretty well set up, or at least as well as I can reasonably be, versus decks like Doomsday and Storm that I expect will not have many pilots at the event, but will be important to beat if I run into them. I like my spot, fair matchups, fair Magic being played, decisions to be made. This is a deck that rewards knowing exactly what your role is in every matchup. This is not a pick up and play deck, but hopefully I've done the work to be rewarded by a deck like this. The full sideboard guide for this list is posted on my Patreon. It was posted 4 days before Eternal Weekend. You could have had it. And there's another Eternal Weekend coming up here in Europe. If you want it, you could have it now. That's all posted there. Let's get into it. This is the 11th hour final run before Eternal Weekend Pittsburgh. 3-for-1 Trading's Black Friday sale ends today. Their whole inventory is 5% off, and they offer free worldwide shipping on all orders over $500. For your last chance at this Black Friday sale, visit shop.3for1trading.com today. Round 1, I am on the draw versus a Yorion strategy. These are not particularly popular right now. I wonder if this is a Yorion Nadu Breakfast deck, a Yorion Death and Taxes deck, or some sort of 5-color beans thing. If it's beans or death and taxes, my job is just grind, have more cards than them, and get them in. If they are death and taxes, or I just said death and taxes, if they are Nadu breakfast, my job will be to contain their combo and then grind. Marsh Flats is telling me this is probably death and taxes, and they also mulled a 5. Being up 3 cards to start this game is nice. They mulled twice, and I'm on the draw. If this is death and taxes, it's just about amassing resources until a Murktide Regent can punch their head. A Mystical Archive, Meticulous Archive. Meticulous Archive off of Marsh Flats. That's interesting. That might be telling more of a Cephalid breakfast story. Normally, Yorion taxes is black-white, red-white, or Mardu. Fibblethip the Lost. All right. Opponent is in their bag on something here. Is this like Esper Vial? Are people still playing that? If they are, that's cool. I'm going to attack with Tamiyo, and then I'm going to brainstorm to flip Tamiyo. I think with an opponent who has mulled a 5 and cast a 1/1, getting the Planeswalker ripping is powerful enough. Put back basic Swamp and up the Beanstalk here. I'm stacking it like that because I am going to Wasteland them this turn. I want all of this to hurt. I want the Tamiyo to just tick up until they can't do stuff. Aether Vial, right on time. Witherbloom Command, save me now. A double Aether Vial, okay. 2 cards at hand to put in with those. And this does appear to be some sort of Esper Vial strategy. Plus Tamiyo. Fetching a green source here is going to cost me my land because they have the Wasteland, but I think having Beanstalk online is worth so much more than a land here. And I don't play a basic forest, so we get what we get out of this. I could hope that they need their mana enough to not Wasteland me and just give me some more resources to play with, but with 2 Aether Vials, that represents so much mana. Okay, passed without a play, didn't waste, didn't play anything. Well, that's interesting. Plus Tamiyo. Wasteland. I'll play this game if you don't want to. Okay, Tamiyo is on ultimate mode next turn. Vialing in an Orcish Bowmaster would be pretty awkward. If they have something like Felia that could flicker the Tamiyo, but I think Felia has to attack. Yeah, that doesn't even work. Okay. Yeah, they just ran out of cards, ran out of options, and died. Perfect. One of the big innovations that Pokemoki and I came up with is the 4th Beanstalk in the sideboard, because the format's so fast that breaking up what they're doing game 1 with cards like Thoughtseize, Consign to Memory, Nile Spellbomb, Witherbloom Command was more important than our own raw cards. But there's a lot of matchups where raw cards are what matter in the sideboard games, and we're in one of them now. This isn't exactly Death and Taxes, but I think I want to sideboard similarly to how I would in that matchup. Against D&T, I upgrade a Wasteland to an Island. Wasteland was a big part of the game we just played. I want to acknowledge that, but also, I still think this is right. Nile Spellbomb and Daze pretty bad against these non-graveyard decks with Aether Vial. An Orcish Bowmaster is not a card I bring in versus Death and Taxes, but it is a card I'm going to bring in here. We saw blue mana. We also saw a cantrip creature, an X1 cantrip creature. I would like to punish that. Null Rod could turn off Vials, but I don't think that's a angle of the game I want to play. And with 4 Beanstalks in the deck, I do like having 4 Force of Wills as well. I might end up cutting 1 and 3 being enough. But Beanstalk does change the calculus of matchups where you generally wouldn't want access to Force of Will, or you wouldn't want to 2-for-1 yourself for anything, because when these become 1-for-1s, and then eventually 1-for-2s if you have double Beanstalk, it becomes insane. Okay. I'm going to cut these and go on the answer the board, draw cards mode. It's possible Carpet of Flowers is right here. It's possible that Harbinger of the Seas is right here. Opponent boarded up to 81, or they just had 81 to start, one or the other. I'm going to keep. I've got another turn 1 Tamiyo. If they start with Vial, it's going to be interesting. Yep. Definitely the best card in the deck. I can't quite play on basic lands here because I don't have access to my swamp. Brainstorm. They could be looking for their second land or for removal here. I don't think they're looking for a 1-drop to aggressively Vial in. Wasteland, played around it. Basic Swamp would be a great draw. Yeah, okay. Attack with Tameo, Basic Swamp, and Froggen. I don't know if this island is the one I boarded in or the one in the main, but I am certainly glad to have it over a Wasteland in this situation. We're getting an upkeep, Vial, and a 2-drop. Stoneforge. They're tutoring something up before they accidentally draw it. Cryptic Code. Brainstorm. All right. This game's getting weird. I feel like they're missing a land drop over there and just trying to make anything happen. Oh, they probably vialed that in to shuffle that Brainstorm for Blaster. That's what that was about. Okay. The story's coming together. They are Brainstorm blocked without the mana they wanted. That's what's going on over there. The Aether Vial is good right now, but if I can Witherbloom command it away, opponent is in a lot of trouble. And they found another basic island. And another Vial. Okay. But presumably they still don't have a way to clear their Brainstorm cards, and they can't activate this Stoneforge. Okay, some options here. I can just attack, discard a card if they block, kill the Stoneforge. Yeah, I'm just going to attack. What it would take to jump the frog isn't even convenient for me. Okay, they did block. I'm going to discard, I think, Underground Sea. I'm not going to play that land anyway into the Wasteland, and lands are my most replaceable resource. Let's see what's going on over there for real. Coat Flickerwisp, Stoneforge, Reality Chip. Okay, Flickerwisp is online next turn. So is the chip. We have to equip that before it does anything. Stoneforge is their shuffle, though, which, if they are Brainstorm locked, would be a nice thing to take. Do I actually care about Flickerwisp? It can delete one of my clues or reset my frog. I'm going to take the Stoneforge. I'm going to deny their shuffle. Then I've got a Ponder. I'd love a Witherbloom command. That kills Flickerwisp and Aether Vial. Force of Will's not helping me here. I could just cast Ponder and get Tameo into Planeswalker mode. It's going to cost me a wastable land. I think I'll take it, though. Tropical Island, Ponder. There's the Hedge Maze and Fatal Push. Hedge Maze is good. That's a green source back on. Fatal Push can kill the Flickerwisp that comes out. Okay, no shuffle, flip Tameo. Get that to work. The vials are up. Did they hide anything off the Brainstorm, or did they think they were going to shuffle, is the question. Like, did they just draw the best card that they had access to, or the second worst? Okay, they cloaked something. They could flicker their cloak and make some giant creature here, if that's a line they have. All right, they're just resetting Tameo. That's fair. And that cost them the Wasteland for the turn, which is more action for me. Okay. I'm going to draw a card to turn on Fatal Push. Push the Flickerwisp. And jumping Frog here guarantees Tameo to flip. But if they block, then Tameo is safe. I don't really want them to block, though. All right. Jump the Frog. Attack with the squad. This is my third draw for the turn. Another Murktide. Hedge Maze. Now my colors are safe. Do I want this Brainstorm? I think I do. Generally, I am interested in Brainstorms. They can vial in the chip this turn and immediately reconfigure it, if that's the best thing they can do with their mana. There's 2 unknown cards in the hand. One of them we knew. They drew up Brainstorm that they didn't want. Found a land. White mana online. Swords to Plowshares. I Force a Will. You found a home. Good job. Their hand right now is Reality Chip. Next turn, they can get and vial in Yorion, which is a lot. The chip can block a non-flyer, but they have to vial it in first. There it is. Do they want to configure for the upside or leave the blocker back? All right, they're configuring for the upside. That's fair. Okay. It's a big turn to find Witherbloom command. I'll start by attacking their life points directly. Hey! Bow, 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 bow. A plus Tameo. And this Witherbloom command is going to destroy their Aether Vial and get one of my lands back. I'll mill myself, kill the Aether Vial. Green-black. And I'm doing this because I want another black to edict them right now. And although this is a weird, fake-looking creature, it is not a token. Okay, there is all of that handled, and I'll pass the turn. They have a Chippo. They can look at the top card of their library, but they can't do anything with it at the moment. Where did this Cataclysm come from? How How did that get in the graveyard? What just happened? Oh, that was the creature. That makes sense. Okay, that's cool. Their creature was a Cataclysm. Knowing that they have Cataclysm is certainly information. Another vial. Sure. Psychic Frog doing his thing here. Up the Beanstalk. Okay. I'll go up the stalk. Another force. I'm going to buy back Fatal Push and just get this chip out of here and let Psychic Frog get to work. Like I said, my job is to bury them, and I'm going to do that right now. Mystic Sanctuary even gets to buy a card back. I'm going to get back Witherbloom Command because that can reset their vial again next turn. And they scooped it. They don't even want to see the Murktide Regent. It's coming. Okay. Absolutely handled this kind of mid-range fair deck, which is what Bug Beans is meant to do. On to the next one.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw in round 2, a hand that is slow but steady. I'm going to keep it. I have both Lorien Fields in here with one land. Savannah, that's basically only a Nadu decks. Okay, that gives me some breathing room to Fatal Push this thing without worrying about a Wasteland. I'll get Underground Sea, because blue is better than green. I can get the Trop next turn. Mystic Sanctuary being in the deck is just something you have to balance around starting early. Allosaurus Shep. Okay, so they are the more combo-y version of Nadu. Another one. Do I think I have a turn to operate? Like, I could just play Beanstalk or Baleful Strix here. Yeah, I'm just gonna get Tropical Island and play Baleful Strix. Or, I mean, Beanstalk. This is the one that's more important to have around. Fetch and response. Am I getting dazed? That would be a twist. Okay. Dried Arbor. Yeah, if they go, actually, Gaia's Cradle Natural Order here, I am in some trouble. Alright, that's not a Gaia's Cradle. They could resolve Nadu here. They don't have ways to target it at the moment. Alright, there you are. I also don't have the ability to get Revolt easily here. Yikes. Alright, well, that showed up a little late. This might all come crashing down, I'm going to be honest. I could Brainstorm for a fetch land. I think that's my best chance to really impact this game right now. Okay, Brainstorm, hope to get Revolt. Found a fetch land, that's good. The Strix might still be good. I don't think I need this Underground Sea, and I don't need 2 Lorien Revealeds. Or maybe I don't need 2 Force of Wills with this Shepherd in play. Lorien Revealed is just so much worse than that. Fetch. I can't counter green cards. I can counter their forces, though. Like, if I target Nadu and they force me, that's something I can handle. They flipped a Dryad Arbor directly into play. And I've got a Tameo to hold the battlefield. Very scared of Natural Order right now, if that's a card in their list. If I survive this turn, I think I'm okay, because I can cycle Lorien for Mystic Sanctuary, put Fatal Push on top of the deck, cast Baleful Strix, draw Fatal Push, and then I can remove Shepherd at will, and have this Force plus Beanstalk going. This is the important turn. I don't really want to have to play against an Atraxa. But even then, Baleful Strix can keep her from just running amok. Like, that is a thing that I have access to. And then I just have to catch up with whatever cards Atraxa draws. Well, you can't have that. Absolutely not. I'm going to force Pitching Force because the Lorien for Fatal Push line actually feels really important. Safekeeper. They do have a target thing, but they're down to 1 card in hand. I'll block. You can't trick me. You don't play Giant Growth. Psychic Frog. Okay. Now the Fatal Push looks worse because they have Safekeeper. I think I'm just going to attack and then play Strix. A black-blue Strix. That's my second draw for the turn. Murderous Cut plays. I'm going to get Mystic Sanctuary and put the Fatal Push on top. And then I'm going to draw a card to flip Tameo. Though maybe Force is better now, because I drew a different removal spell. They do have a board full of X1s, and Tamiyo completely shuts down chip damage. I need to hope that last card in their hand is not a banger. Oh no, a lot of mana in the pool. This looks like a Zenith. Oh, it's Natural Order. That might be worse. I mean, can't counter it. Resolves. Hoof. Is Hoof lethal? Yes, I'm at fucking 12. Okay, yep, sure. Yeah, that is the card I was worried about for the whole game. Okay. They are the Natural Order Elves version of Nadu. Like Bowmaster, Pernicious Deed. Consign to Memory does affect Crater Hoof and Atraxa. I don't need Nile Spell Bombs. I'm not a big believer in Daze here. Do I want Consign? I definitely want Cage. Harbinger, there's an argument for Harbinger as well. They are a 3-color deck. If I could keep the mana dorks in check, then maybe they just can't cast green spells. Turn off Gaia's Cradle is a pretty big deal. I have the 1 main deck Consign. I'm not even sure if I want any. I'm pretty sure I don't want 2. Okay, I think I'm out on the main deck Consign as well and go +1 Harbinger. I don't think I really have to race to this strategy, like quickly jam a Harbinger. But it is nice to have that to dig for once I get the dorks under control. And I like Bowmaster just as Flame Tongue Kavu for Birds of Paradise. Alright, I'll keep this. It's missing an engine, but it does interact meaningfully for a while, and Murktide Regen kills really fast. Opponent's on 6. These sort of matchups are some of the trickier ones for Bug Beans. Like this and Cradle Control are things that we gotta respect. I wish I knew if I needed Bayou or not here. I will get Bayou just to round my colors out. Push the bird. Wasteland's great here. Any draw engine's great here. I'll take a Fatal Push. Not too proud for that. The Shep. This is the same thing they did last game, which is get me to commit a removal spell to their mana dork, and then play Allosaurus Shepherd. This time I could kill it, though. There are no forests in play currently for the Squirian Ranger. I'm 1 short of jamming this Murktide, which I would absolutely do if it was available to me. I could have played Mystic Sanctuary to guarantee Murktide next turn, but I have hopes and dreams for that card. Any land in my deck plays Murktide immediately, even Wasteland, because it goes to the graveyard where I could use it. Any spell sets up the Murktide for next turn. Witherbloom Command would be insane here. Just a common theme. Springheart Nantuko. I don't want this to happen. I am going to force. This is pretty aggressive, but I see them floundering. That land is a little scary. That represents potential Natural Order next turn. Sick. Alright, not anymore. Would I rather have Wasteland or Fatal Push in my graveyard? Or Force of Will? I do have the choice in the matter here. And I'm killing this Cradle. Murktide only needs 2 on it to be the same clock. I think having Fatal Push in the bank is better with Mystic Sanctuary than having a 6/6 Murktide. Wasting a Cradle is always a little scary because you might have just unlocked a legendary copy in their hand, or you just killed their best land, and those are the 2 modes. Uh-oh. Nantuko's back. They got another one of those, and they have another land drop with Savannah here. There it goes. Let's see if they can grind out of this. Oh no, white in the pool. That can't possibly be good for me. Alright, Nomad is not Swords to Plowshares, but it's also not good for me. Witherbloom Command! Wasteland. Okay, attack for 5. And I'm going to waste the Boseiju because I can't waste the Savannah here because of Quirion Ranger. The race is on. Loading a white. Picking up their land. Playing the land. They could copy Quirion Ranger. Oh, they have the plow. Alright. I don't know if they just drew that or they weren't worried about it last turn. They didn't need to be worried about it last turn. That would have been totally fine. Okay, Pernicious Deed is good. I'd still take Witherbloom Command. I will always take Witherbloom Command. Yuck. Alright. Well, this gets Hedge Maze, which could set up Mystic Sanctuary for the future. I am falling behind, though. But my deck has Pernicious Deed in it. Hierarch, 1 card left. It attacks not respecting Bowmaster at all. That's good to note. That's not on their radar. Or it's on their radar and they have correctly deduced that I don't have it. Picked up and replayed Savannah. I'm going to get Hedge Maze for the selection. Come on, Pernicious Deed. Show me the deed. Land to the graveyard. Useful spell. Up the Beanstalk. Some cantrip. Brainstorm. Ponder. Tamiyo's not the worst card I've ever seen. It's also not the most helpful. Sanctuary is going to put Fatal Push back on top. Here's Tameo. Hope their last card in hand is not Swords of Plowshares. I'm all in. Gaia's Cradle. That was definitely the drawer that would have been in play by now. Now anything is live, including hardcasting Craterhoof, which appears to be what's happening. Oh, it's Nadu. That's even worse. All right. GG. Okay. Yep. Ran out of gas there. Their removal was really important. My plan to get them under control and then stick a monster. That did happen, but they answered my monster. I never, until turn 7, did I find anything that draws a card in any capacity, which is partially a criticism of my keep, partially just kind of run bad. You can't go 1 for 1 and 1 for 2 forever. You do actually need to find a Beanstalk, a Witherbloom, get a Tameo live. You got to get something going, or you will just die to random mess. Good note. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play in round 3 versus Larson, who is one of the world's foremost cephalid breakfast enthusiasts. 2 Ponders and a Witherbloom Commander, all good for me. Ponder, Fatal Push, Niles Spellbomb up the Beanstalk. Let's go, everything. Every single one of those cards is what I'm happy to see. Flooded Strand. Basic Island's not going to cast Nomad this turn. That's good news. Did not shuffle Ponder. Going to play Niles Spellbomb. Potent main deck card in this format that we find ourselves in. And I'm actually not going to Ponder. I get to leave up Fatal Push this way or cantrip off Niles Spellbomb, and I know I want my top card anyway. Vexing Bauble. Okay. Dark Ritual. Have I been fooled? Hoodwinked? Wow. Opponent got me with the surprise Doomsday Juke. Well done. Maybe it's Doomsday Breakfast. This is the flip side of being a deck specialist. The bad news is most people know what you're playing. The good news is you can sometimes switch it up. There was a weekend here in Pittsburgh. There were 2 back-to-back local tournaments. It was like Legacy for Dual Lands on Saturday and then Legacy for Dual Lands on Sunday at a different store. And it was during my Uro Bant Control era, and I won both tournaments with Doomsday that weekend. Just flip it when they know you're coming. There is this cool trick with Witherbloom Command, where target player mills 3. That's unlikely to affect their current setup, but it might affect their... If they made a pass pile, if I can find a wasteland, all of those are things that I can use to my advantage. Yeah, this just looks like a Turbo Doomsday, multiple personal tutors, multiple vexing baubles. Okay, cool. Good to know. All right, I no longer want this up the Beanstalk. I could shuffle away with Lorien, or I could just draw it away with Niles Spellbomb, and this is on board. I'll do it that way. I'd love to draw a Force of Will here. No such luck. Okay, Ponder, Binding, Force, or Daze, or Wasteland's probably not good enough. Okay, I'm going to Ponder first. Ponder, Tameo. None of those are what I want. I'm going to shuffle. Another Niles Spellbomb. So there's 2 possibilities if I go for Witherbloom now. One is my opponent has a messed up pile and doesn't function anymore. The other is I just speed up their pile. This did not go how I wanted. I made a plan based on information that was false. Thoughtseize. Disappointing. Hopefully they'll take up the Beanstalk and not see the Witherbloom line. But if I die this turn, it doesn't matter. Street Wraith. Fetching. 2 cards left in the deck. Alright, they took the Fatal Push. They know this is going to work. I'll Spellbomb you, scoreboard. Okay. Well, got me with the juke. Not really a juke, the secret surprise information. Okay, Doomsday. Bowmaster, Veil of Summer, Consigned to Memory. And what a surprise, boarding out 2 of the cards I drew that game. Yeah, I think that's all I'm doing. Right back in we go. It's always a bad feeling in Magic where you go to your sideboard and immediately sideboard out most of the cards you drew in game 1. Just the rub-ins of not only are you down a game, but it was literally the cards that don't belong in your deck. Okay, I'm going to keep this hand with double consign in it. That's meaningful interaction for the matchup. It's also extra sneaky because it doesn't care about Vexing Bauble, which is a card that at least their main deck had in max quantity. The Hedge Maze is awkward. Where the Bloom Command is a later situation. Do I actually want any of these? Getting up the Beanstalk going is fine. I actually don't think I want any of this. I'm going to mulligan the Ponder. Mulligan the Ponder. Yeah, with Frog and Bowmaster ready to go, I didn't need more 2-drops in the hand. That was really the tiebreaker. Not that the cards I was looking at were bad. Undercity Sewers tapped. And I'm just frogging here. I'm going in. Begin the beats. If they interact with this, I could daze. We're in. Get to keep my daze. They did think about it for a while, though, like weighing the option of fighting over this frog now to buy time or saving your counterspell to fight over your own combo. All right, there's Vexing Bauble. Can I punish with this double consign follow-up? Dark Ritual. There it goes. I don't know if they could win right now. Like with Vexing Bauble in play, things like Lion's Eye Diamond or whatever that would accelerate a no-pass pile from 0 mana aren't really available. I'm probably going to get to untap with these 2 consigns in my hand. Vexing Bauble is extra cool, though, because you can sack it to get a card deeper into your pile, which then also unlocks 0 mana acceleration or forces and dazes from your hand and pile. What a card. Just going to do a quick perusal of this deck, see if anything surprising is in here. Flusterstorm is a good answer to consign. I see 2 of those in exile. There might be another one still in the hand. Edge of Autumn, Duress. There is a Lion's Eye Diamond that was not available because of their bauble. I don't see any juke monsters like Frog, Tameo, Shieldred. None of that going on. Wasteland. Big if true. Opponent's at 9. Can I kill them? Maybe. I'm going to attack and not put any extra sauce on the attack here. Wasteland actually looks pretty dope here. If they built their pile thinking they had 1 amount of resources and now they have less. There's a Flooded Strand, which gets a card out of the pile. 3 cards left. Storm. 0 cards in the pile. Back to 2. Can't play Lotus Petal here. Duress. I'm going to hardcast Daze. I don't want them to know what they have to beat. And this frog can hit for 7. Unfortunately, I have to reveal the 2 consigns no matter what here. But I'd rather make them dead than mess around with the possibility that they weasel out of this. Cool. I revealed the consigns. Tough beat. But we won the game. I don't think anything changes here. I just don't have anything else I'd want to bring in. Well, seeing that they don't have frogs or Tameos, actually, Harbinger of the Seas, if I catch them on a spot where they haven't resolved Doomsday yet, that might be good. It's blue to pitch to force. If it's not good, I'd probably be removing the Murderous Cuts for that. Like, the only reason I'd have a removal spell in is to keep them honest about incomplete Doomsday piles. Like, if they want to cast Thassa's Oracle with 2 cards still in the deck, I don't want that to be free. Murderous Cut is the thing that draws cards. This also puts me to 0 answers to something like Shieldred or Murktide Regent, should they have one of those suddenly. Maybe I'll go 1 push, 1 cut, just to cover my bases. It's unlikely either of these cards matter in a game versus Turbo Doomsday, but I'll hedge my bets a little bit. Okay, multiple forces. This hand is pretty bad versus Vexing Bauble, a card we know they play. Opponent's on 6 cards. I do have to force the Vexing Bauble here if they lead on 1. Okay, Ponder. I'm safe. Gives me at least 1 turn to cast Ponder. Shuffle the library. The no-sell. Here's one of these fatal pushes that I mostly don't even want in the deck. Underground Sea, Ponder. Consign Tameo Bayou. All right. I'm going to put the Bayou in my hand now and hide the other goods. Sewers tapped. Dumped Edge of Autumn. Vexing Bauble. Okay, I do have to interact with this. I'm going to pitch Murktide Regent. I have hopes for this Harbinger of the Seas. They might be misplaced, but I have hopes. Tameo, get in there. My top card is the Consign. The Harbinger is my next pitch, though. I think I want Lorien Revealed more than I want Harbinger of the Seas. Doomsday. Well, now that might change. No, it doesn't. Does it? I'm drawing Consign. Yeah, I will keep the Harbinger. Okay, they did force me back, which means that they are on super low resources, and I'm drawing Consign next turn. But I don't want the Consign next turn. I want it the turn after that. Okay. Yeah, they're going to be able to make a pile that manipulates this. They did pitch Brainstorm to that force, though. That might cost them some interaction. Now I wish I had Lorien Revealed rather than Harbinger of the Seas. My hope was that if I win this fight, I could make it really hard for them to ever cast another Doomsday. Came out too hard, though. They can't make a mini pile, though, because I have both Consign and Fatal Push in my hand. If they do something like stack Brainstorm on top, Brainstorm into Thoughtseize Oracle, that won't actually answer both of my answers. But the Fatal Push is temporary. Yeah, I cut Fatal Push and Murderous Cut for these two Harbingers. Those wouldn't be any better, and at least I had the option of a blue card to pitch. I'm happy with that sideboard decision, even if it doesn't end up mattering this game or helping this game. It already mattered. I had a choice to make over what to pitch to force, where otherwise I wouldn't. A pile's made. Still no surprises here. Consider and Lion's Eye Diamond both gone. They're not taking a turbo line, which they couldn't anyway. What that last card in their hand is going to matter a lot. If it's a banger that helps their pile, I don't think I could ever win. If it is not that, it might not matter. All right, well, now if they have Thoughtseize Oracle, they win. Ooh, passed. Did they suddenly decide that Consign and Memory is a problem? There's the other Harbinger. Come on, deck. Holy moly. Okay, well, that is a pivot I'm happy with, because rather than hope that their last card isn't Thoughtseize, I can just smoke their ass now. Target player mills 3, and target opponent loses 2 life. Black-green. And the sick part of this is I still get to leave up my Consign. 2 Thassa's Oracles in the bin. The Witherbloom Command victory versus Doomsday. Undefeated Magic card. Reason to play the deck. On to the next round. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. If you're having fun, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to sign up for shop.3frontrading.com's Black Friday sale, November 27th through December 2nd. I'm on the draw in round 4 versus Bob Wong, former Legacy Eternal Weekend champion. I'm going to mulligan this No-Lander. I'll keep this and put Mystic Sanctuary to the bottom. This has a spread of stuff. A Swamp and a Thoughtseize. Good chance I'll lose Nile Spellbomb here. We have basic Swamp. Thoughtseize is the open. Correct. Alright, well, here's Tameo. Opponent may have just cleared the runway for Entomb Reanimate, but if my opponent has Thoughtseize into Entomb Reanimate, okay. I would rather get a draw engine online than Emergency Ponder for Force of Will. In a game where my opponent might just as equally be on tempo. Like, they could even just like play Nethergoyf and pass here. Polluted Delta. Okay. Opponent saw the Fatal Push in my hand and still has deployed Psychic Frog. I could think they are an idiot, or I could think they have an answer to this. And I don't think my opponent's an idiot. I know that they're not, actually. Okay, I'm going to Fatal Push around Daze before I do anything else. That happened successfully. I think I just want to ponder here. I know that Brainstorm flips Tameo. I didn't forget. But I don't think I want to Planeswalker right away. This may or may not be a matchup where that's important. Funny story that involves my opponent, Bob Wong. I was once out of town for a Magic tournament, and it was suggested that we play Mahjong, a game that I had never played before. And the last names of my opponents, my last name is Koval. My opponent's last names were Huang, Yu, and Chang. I did not win. Ponder into Undercity Sewers. Oh, yeah, that sucks. Well, The Ponder set up just randomly found Archon. That was not manipulated until the Ponder happened. But I do have Murderous Cut on top of my deck right now. I'll sack Tameo, discard a Brainstorm, Lotus Petal. Ooh, someone's going a little faster than normal over there. Okay, I can play Murderous Cut around Daze. My top card right now is Mystic Sanctuary, which unfortunately does not come in untapped. Yeah, I'll just cut this thing. If there's a Force of Will here, I'm probably dead. Opponent might just reanimate it again next turn. I didn't do any of that. Brainstorm. Put back these two things, take the fetch land, and the next reanimate spell is pretty bad for me too. Brainstorm. It's a lot of looks at probably a lot of hits. Ponder. Shuffle the library. You're saying there's a chance? Don't do that. Don't give me hope. Another Sewer. Dump to Force of Will. Thoughtseize takes my Beanstalk. And I have one more Nile Spellbomb in my deck that would be a sick one to find right now. I'm going to get my Hedge Maze for maximum selection. Wasteland, not what this game is about. Force of Will. I'm going to activate my Clue. Up the Beanstalk. Alright, opponent didn't have it last turn. Let's see if they have it now. Just more cantrips. Looted Delta. Psychic Frog. Okay, Frog is less scary than Animate Dead here. I am not going to Wasteland my opponent, so I will use the Wasteland for mana to get this up the Beanstalk going. A blue card's pretty sick here. Okay. We are playing the game again. We're playing the game behind a Psychic Frog, but we are playing the game. A third Undercity Sewers. Bro is in his bag right now. Kept the card. Frog gets a taste. 3 cards in hand over there. Show and Tell. This might be bait, but I can't risk it. That's countered. Might just slam a reanimate spell. Another Frog. Okay. Big draws. It's not the biggest draw, but it's not bad either. If I survive this turn, there's actually a plan to the exit here. In the attack step, play Bowmaster. Target one of the frogs. I'll at least make you do something here. Jump the frog with a damage on it. You probably want to jump both frogs here. You're so far ahead, and like this is a turn where it could fall apart. Okay, both frogs get in. That is 2 Bowmaster triggers. I'm going to just pile onto the frog I've already dealt 1 to. Obviously here, each draw also signifies a card that could be discarded to the frog, and maybe I don't kill anything. But I'm at least breaking even on where the cards are. And Atraxa discarded does kind of indicate that the Show and Tell was not a bluff last turn. Discarded Entomb. Okay. Do you have the Reanimate? Did you find it yet? You've had enough looks. Okay, Atraxa trigger puts my opponent to 2. I guess if I had gone face with these army triggers, like if I put my opponent to 7 instead of 9, I had the option to turn off Reanimate here entirely. Seeing Force of Will enter the hand is discouraging. But I have live rips here. Okay, the Atraxa selected Underground Sea, Archon of Cruelty, Lotus Petal, and Force of Will, but opponent just had Animate Dead in hand the whole time. The one card I didn't know on this whole sequence was Animate Dead. Now I'm not convinced I can win anymore. I'm going to sack Orc Army. How do I actually win this game? It's unlikely to happen is the answer. I don't think going after this Psychic Frog is going to help. Yeah, if I had just put my opponent to 7 life, this chain is less dangerous. I'm going to Sanctuary back Murderous Cut. I know they have Force of Will, but do they have a blue card? I'm going to cut Atraxa. Yeah, we always knew this force was going to happen, or at least pretty much imagined it. I need Beanstalk to deliver the goods. That's not it. All right. You know, it took 3 monsters and 2 Psychic Frogs, and it was still close, and I still may have punted. I'm not upset with that, even though I did lose. Got a little bit of an awkward situation here because my sideboard map for Reanimator involves cutting 2 Force of Wills, but my opponent has Show and Tell on the main deck. It's like a Show and Tell Reanimator. We saw at least 4 different monsters, not the normal 2. This is not the normal deck. which means I have to come up with a different plan on the fly. I would normally also bring in Carpet and Dismember, but if my opponent's not going to have Barrowgoyfs and they have Show and Tells instead, that's not a play I want to make. I still need Fatal Push because we've seen Frog. Maybe I have to cut another Witherbloom command here. Feels weird to cut a Daze versus a combo deck on the play, but that does appear to be the weakest card still in my deck. Okay, I will try it like this. I'm going to keep no specific interaction, but I do get to stick this Tamio and see some cards next turn. I'm going to get Trop because I have Basic Swamp. That's going to be a stable black source. Though I'm pretty sure my opponent doesn't have Wasteland in their deck. They appear to be a dedicated combo variety. Flooded Strand, Basic Island, Ponder. Alright. There's one Thoughtseize in my deck to help against the Show and Tell side. There's two Ponders. I could just cast them both, flip Tamio, get that ticking up. Also sees a lot of cards this turn. I like that. Ponder. Fatal Push Psychic Frog. I'm going to shuffle this. I don't need any of this stuff. Fetch for Underground Sea and play the other Ponder. Murktide Regent Fatal Push up the Beanstalk. Don't need any of that either. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Extreme sign of weakness there. That was 2 Ponders, 2 shuffles. Really hope my opponent just plays a Psychic Frog this turn. Though Island turns off Entomb Reanimate. Unless this deck also has Dark Ritual in it. Oh, we have seen Lotus Petal. That's 1/3 of a Dark Ritual. 2/3 of a Dark Ritual? Because Dark Ritual costs 1. You net 2. Lotus Petal, you net 1. Okay, it's half a Dark Ritual. I don't know. The math is in there somewhere. It's up to you to find it. Okay, I'm going to dig up a Ponder here, because my opponent has dumped into Traxa with Undercity Sewers, and I would like to find some way to interact with that. That works. I do not shuffle. Play Underground Sea. Play Grafdigger's Cage. 7 cards in hand over there. Cage is in. All right. Brainstorm. And I've got a Wasteland coming as well, which is good. As long as Cage is in play, if I could keep my opponent off 3 mana for Show and Tell long enough, that's another plan I can make. If they go into Psychic Frog, I have Murderous Cut. Thoughtseize. Okay. I'm not going to have one of these things shortly. Are they worried about getting cracked back or worried about sticking something like Frog? That's the question. Murderous Cut could also temporarily take the pressure off of a Show and Tell. As they show a monster, I cut it, and then it's locked under Cage. I could see the cut being a concern. I took the Murktide and played Ponder. I'm drawing a Wasteland here. Or no, Wasteland is under the Brainstorm, my bad. Just tight plays, staying on top of knowing what I'm drawing after setting it up. I will take the Wasteland, though. Like I said, anything that sets them back a turn is reasonable to me. If nobody's doing anything, I'm winning. That is the dynamic in the matchup. It's just how long can I make the game not do anything? Engineered Explosives for 1. Well, that sucks. That kills the Cage and Tamio. They probably just bust it now before Tamio can minus. Yep. Alright, yep, that happened. It did buy me a turn to dig through my deck, though. Mystic Sanctuary cannot pick up Grafdigger's Cage, unfortunately. It could pick up Ponder. I don't think I want to do that, though. I'm going to just send the Brainstorm on a fact-finding mission here. Put back Sanctuary and Basic Swamp. We fetch for the Mystic Sanctuary. I'll put Ponder on top and then go up the Beanstalk. There is a Fairy Macabre in my deck, which is what I'm looking for here. Force of Will is not the worst thing I could find, though, and the Force will draw the days off Beanstalk. Okay. I have to imagine with 5 cards in hand, 6 cards after draw step, the Force has been accounted for in some fashion. Okay, I'm going to force this. Pitching Tamio. I could just cast Lore and Reveal next turn. That happened. Lotus Petal. Please cast Show and Tell. Played around the days. Okay. Atraxa's in. Force, Show and Tell, Engineered Explosives all revealed. Opponent knows I am holding Murderous Cut. They kept Sea, Frog, Force, Show and Tell, and Explosives. If they cast Psychic Frog here, Daze beats Force on their turn. I would let Psychic Frog resolve so I could cut the Atraxa. Yep. Slam it in. Let it happen quick. And Murderous Cut Atraxa. Triggers Beanstalk. If this Beanstalk draws a way to draw a card, it did. Well, it kind of did. Can't say that's not a way to draw cards, because it obviously is. Played around the days, though. This is the difference between playing against a world-class opponent and somebody just randomly at FNM or whatever. Bob is an Eternal Weekend winner, and I feel like most people on the earth would have just slammed the Force of Will there. Animate Dead. It's happening again. Thoughtseize, Animate Dead, Fatal Push, Reanimate, Brainstorm, Lotus Petal. There's not currently another monster in the graveyard. Kept Thoughtseize, Delta, Animate Dead, Brainstorm. I could daze this Thoughtseize just to get Mystic Sanctuary back in my hand. Is that how I'm going to win this game? I think I'm going to fetch my Hedge Maze first and see what's on top of my deck. And if it's something that can manipulate cards, well, and that kills Psychic Frog, and then I have to survive some Atraxa beats. We know there's a Show and Tell over there. All right, I will put this on top and let Thoughtseize resolve. Took one of the Lorians. Played the Delta. Lotus Petal. Discarded Archon. All right, had one in the bank. All right, we're good. Yeah, definitely outmuscled. The Engineered Explosives was sick here. Yeah, that game was played with... In Grafdigger's Cage, I did have it play for a little while. That one sits in play. Like, the problem with Grafdigger's Cage is you can answer it, whereas, like, Nihil Spellbomb, you could just bust it in response. But also, it has text versus Nadu and Cradle Control, where Nihil Spellbomb doesn't, which already also came up in this league. Yeah, that's an interesting slot. I did get stuff going. It wasn't more powerful than 2 Atraxas, though. On to the final round. It is storming like crazy outside my house right now, and power is cutting in and out. I do have a generator, external power source to keep the recording going at least, but the internet is not attached to that. Yeah, there it goes. It did just kick back on. Hopefully we get a game here, but we might have a act of God, as they say, affecting this league. JK, I've been told there is a tornado warning, and the rain is sideways outside my house, so this is the end of the video. I'll do a sign-off when the coast is clear. I have returned from my sheltering. The tornado has passed. Now it's just a severe thunderstorm. I'm still going to try to do this quick before I lose power again. Live TV, am I right? These things happen. So in this league, the games we got to play, I did body the fair deck I queued into, as we are supposed to do with our Up the Beanstalk engine. I defeated Doomsday in a close one, and I lost to Nadu in a close one, and I lost to Reanimator in one that wasn't really close. It was a weird version of Reanimator, though. I'm not really built with a plan for fully dedicated show and tell Reanimator like that. I'm ready for Dimir, Froginator, that sort of thing. But the show and tells on top of the graveyard and the frog was a lot to keep track of out of Bob's deck. Then we lost the last round of Storm, but died on turn 0. Didn't have a chance. As far as the deck for Eternal Weekend goes, obviously I would have preferred to just trophy this league and be riding high into the event. I'm not going to let the results of one league shake me. Everything that was kind of supposed to happen did, where when I got my engines running, I ran away. I had some cool, tricky little plays, and in the games where I had to 2-for-1 myself multiple times to stay alive and then didn't get an engine online, I lost. Hopefully a tornado descending on the end of my league is not an omen for my performance at Eternal Weekend, if you believe in that sort of thing. I mostly don't, though. I like this deck. Hope it can perform. Hope I get some fair opponents throughout the leagues tomorrow, or the event tomorrow and this weekend. Ancient Tomb is super popular right now. I just haven't seen one in like 2 weeks of testing this deck on Magic Online. Give me the Delver, give me the Dimir Tempo, give me the Esper Tempo, give me the Death in Texas, ship all that my way. For today, though, I'm going to get out of here. Claire, thanks for the opportunity to play this. Sorry you only got 4 matches out of your contribution. Everyone else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon, where you can find the full sideboard guide for this deck. And I'll see you next time.